We're on with Amelia Moore. Good fight. We're on with her ahead of her WBC women's lightweight fight against Caroline Dubois. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing good. Super
Yeah.
stoked. We leave tomorrow, so I am. I'm super happy. It's like the end of camp feel goods. 10 long hard weeks, so finally we're here.
Do you feel like no one wanted to fight Caroline? She's kind of got like a boogie woman vibe.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying she's the best. Are you kind of taking this, I'll say prematurely to a certain degree because of your pro record, because a lot of people turned her down?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people turn around. I think that a lot of these girls are scared of her. I've talked about it before with, that's where we're seeing women's boxing finally growing, and but there's that gap, right? There's that skill gap. And so a lot of these girls it's been at this level, and they've been kind of competitive. But when you get in there with somebody who's got a high pedigree and they've got real tools, these girls don't want to get knocked out and outclassed. And I mean, that's fair. But so these rankings, I kind of feel are. I think in time we're going to see that the rankings start to really get more legitimized.
Okay, that speaks to my next talking point with you. Do you feel like there's people that reach champion status and don't allow true contenders to get to where they want to go in the sport? And what I mean by that is like Caroline had to work hard, but she got to a superstar level. You've also worked hard. You have just as big of an amateur career as her, but yet you're fighting on regional level shows. Yes, you have a promoter, but you don't get the same exposure. Do you feel like there's almost like a caste system in boxing that exists?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's one of the big things where we're seeing promotions. And I know that Dana White and Jake Paul are kind of at each other, but you've got these two promotions in Zuffa and MVP that are kind of changing that narrative potentially. That are giving opportunities to athletes where it's less likely we're not seeing as much gatekeeping, or it's that push to kind of keep it out of this, like, where it's just like, I don't want to say it's not the good old boys league, but it's this like exclusive group where they decide, and then those are the people who are given opportunities. There's so much talent. There's so much talent that's sitting in this like holding pattern, and that's just kind of how it goes. They pick a racehorse and they're like, well, this is one we're going to put our chips on, and then nobody else matters, which is insane to me because boxing in and of itself is like, it is the hardest sport that there is. It is of the most sacrifice, the most grit, and it's one of those sports that everything is stripped down. So it's like it's bananas to me that there is gatekeeping. And again, it's not that bizarre to me at the same token, because at the end of the day, it's entertainment, right? So people are, you've got these people who are in place, and what they say they believe is reality, but it's not. There's so much talent out there.
So are you saying there's the haves and the have-nots in boxing?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Okay, I was kind of hoping you'd go on a heater there, but didn't really work for me. Um,
You're trying to bait
next,
me.
yeah, yeah, there we go. That's right. Um, what about this camp has been different for you?
It's been long. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, each camp that you go through is this crazy roller coaster, right? And I feel like you gain a life lesson out of every single camp that you walk through. And it's a stripping down and it's a rebuild every single time. So, I with that regard, I was looking at like my data from my heart rate, my VO2 max, and all of that, and where I am compared to where I even was, which I felt like I was in incredible shape. I was in incredible space leading into my March 28th fight. I mean, to even imagine that we're leaps and bounds ahead of that is incredible. And I think that, it's just been like a building block, but I've chosen to dig deeper in different aspects. And I like don't really know how to elaborate on that, but it's like I said, every camp has a life lesson. And there's a purpose to it, and if you see it and you capitalize on it, it's going to make you a better when it's time to shine.
What did you feel when you were in front of Caroline?
I mean, nothing ever shakes me. I've seen a whole lot of life, and I just kind of like, I feel like it's these like where you're supposed to be sizing someone up. I'm a brick wall. And I feel like that was just really kind of what she felt with me, is that, feeling my energy, what I am. There's a lot of people that don't know who they are. Man, I'm 10 toes down. Like, I know exactly who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I've been through. I know how I react when the shit hits the fan, in so many different aspects. And so it's just, I feel like when people, when you meet somebody who's legitimate, you know it. And I feel like that's what I felt from her coming from me. It was just like, this girl is no joke. This is Amelia Moore is exactly who she says she is. So, and that's really the feeling I got. And good, good, because I think that's supposed to be the point of boxing is you can talk, um, but boxing is exposing, man. It will it that those lights and that bell tell all.
Well, one thing I'll say is real recognize real, like JT the Bigger Figure once said in his song. Well, no, that was game recognize game, but I think that's the same thing.
Yeah, same,
Uh,
same.
Same sentiment. It's just worded in a different vernacular. Um, the fighting for your country, I know that that means something to you, and the fact that you never fully got to fight for your country, but now you're going overseas to fight Caroline Dubois, who's put on this pedestal. What does it mean to represent the U.S. on this stage?
And there's people that do and don't know. Like I'm a U.S. veteran, U.S. Navy, and my full intention was to serve a full long career. And I, due to medical reasons, it was like I had a huge course change, and it was devastating to me. I mean, that was my identity, and I was like, no, like went into active reserve. Went to the U.S. Naval Academy. Was like, I'm going to commission. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a EOD tech, or an EOD officer, or a fighter, not a fighter pilot, a helicopter pilot. And it was just like I remember when I was on my boxing journey, going through before that and through the Naval Academy, and that experience is really what pushed me even farther into boxing. And I remember seeing myself for the first time at my international debut, pictures of that with USA across my uniform, walking into the ring and being like, this experience where I am now, I'm still serving my country. Like I'm representing my country at the top of my ability. And being able to represent that, like it meant everything to me, because it was like that full circle of something that was deep inside of me that, whether it's patriotism or community, that truly means something to me. So, it's just kind of, it's insane. Like, it's, we see these things, but it means something to me to represent the place which I came from, where I've had my hard knocks, where I've had my biggest opportunities and my growth, and you know, and be able to show people that, like, man, you can too. This is who we are. We're hard people, and we do big things, and we strive. And so, you carry that with you. And I think it's not a weight. It's a privilege, 100%.
Not to harping on this America First message, but it's like you wanted to serve the country that didn't. Well, you did serve the country, but you didn't get to go the Amelia Moore journey you wanted. We can't take away what you did. You did serve the country. Um, and then you wanted to fight for the Olympics. For people that don't know, you spent a long time in the amateurs because that was a major goal of yours. That was a major dream. And I feel like maybe slight bias. There were decisions that didn't go your way that really weren't the most fair, and you kept pushing and pushing. Uh, First off, maybe talk about that amateur journey a little bit and some of those frustrations you had. But also going overseas, is this kind of like everything has prepped you for this moment to really get an experience to represent America?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to you a little bit in the press conference. Was I had never had an intention of going pro. I wanted to be an Olympian. I went through 3 Olympic cycles, and for most people who are in boxing, like that's, one is a lot, two is a ton. To do it a third time, and it's like every single time, it's like I grew. Like the first time I had completely green. The second Olympic quad that I went through, I really started to make leaps and bounds, and I was right there. And then this last one is a lot of politics happened. We had, qualifications internationally before we had Olympic trials qualifiers, and on top of that, being a top seed, and that really sucked. And I think that those politics are really what pushed me into the pro side, and it broke my heart. I had to, I mean, to be in a place where it's just like, I have to let this go because this is not about merit. This isn't about, actually your accolades, and where is the actual ladder that you're supposed to be taking. People are just, they're making up rules as they go. And that's how I mean, it's not how it just feels. It's how exactly what it looks like. And, and it pushed me into this place where it's like, the joy is gone. It completely strips that away. And it's again, another identity strip where I was like, man, this was everything to me. This was that second resurrection, my second, yeah, I left the military, and that was a dream that was a hard stop. And I recreated myself in this new space, and I put everything into it. And it just, here we are at another hard stop, and this is life, right? You have hurdles and you keep going. And it's like, but if that didn't happen, it wouldn't have pushed me into the pro side. And I said that when I came into this side, and it felt unfulfilled. I mean, it was like, I mourned it for real. And, but when I came to the pro side, I was like, man, it's going to all about joy. It has to be about joy, this journey, good people, the people with the same vision. Um, and just giving it hell. Like, we're going to do this. Like, there's going to be no BS. Like, we walk away from things that don't make sense. And people that, are just not good. I've given my whole life to this experience, but I mean, the amount of experience that I had culminated through 3 Olympic cycles, it's 12 years worth of training, 3 quads. And the amount of times that I've fought in countries, no AC, can't drink the water. Like, it's been an incredible experience. And it creates that confidence of like, I can do anything in any space at any time. And it's, people are like, whoa, you're going over the pond to take this world title fight. And I'm like, this is easy. Like, I have a bug out bag for international travel, specifically for boxing, with all my adapters and like my hot pot, my kettle. And so, yeah, I mean, all the experiences created this space where it's just like, I'm ready. Like, this is finally, I get to my Olympics in a way. So, I'm stoked. And it's, things always happen. I always say, like, there's this lyric to this one song, and he says, it's not about a matter of luck, it's just about a matter of time. And it's so true. I mean, obviously there's some people, things happen a little bit quicker for some people, but man, if you stay in it, you stay in the saddle, all those things fade away, and it will be you left.
You want to tell the folks that India story?
Oh, which part?
Whatever part you want to tell them.
Oh man, you mean like coming back sick, or?
Well, just whatever part you want to tell them to kind of give them a experience of what you fought through internationally.
Yeah, I mean, India, I went to 2018 Worlds in New Delhi, India, and it was that was like the first time to go that far. I mean, it's different when you go to like European countries, right? Like, or you go to South American countries that are still using US currency, or the country, everybody speaks the same language. But man, we went to India, and it was it wasn't a culture shock so much as an adjustment shock, where you have to be careful about the foods that you eat. You have to, and you have to be careful about the water bottles, like not knowing if the water bottles are being refilled. You have to check the seals. I came back from India with neurovirus, E. coli, and salmonella poisoning, literally because I opened my mouth in the shower. And like, you're trying to make weight. We're there for 2 weeks. The only place in the world that has like an extra half-hour time difference. We were like 12 and a half hours time change from Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I was like, how is that? Who decided that? Who decided on the half-hour mark? And I'm guessing it's because the country is just so massive. It's like, with the sun, they have to do this extra half hour. I don't know. I still haven't Googled it. But, it's, you're without resources, you're with what you bring. And there's a resiliency factor. I mean, heck, I've told this story so many times about Ginny Fuchs. Ginny got deli belly before I did, and she had to, we both had to compete super sick with fevers. And I left the hotel to go get a tuk-tuk to go find an adult diaper because Ginny was
What's
like,
a tuk tuk?
a
I
tuk-tuk.
don't know. I don't know what a tuk tuk is. We're not
It
going to just skip that.
okay. If you've never driven in a tuk-tuk, have you even lived? So they're basically like motorbike scooters with carriages on the back of
How
them.
fast were you going on a tuk tuk?
Dude, I don't even know because they don't use blinkers and there's no miles per hour on those
Give
suckers.
me you ride a hog? Like what do you
Yeah,
think? 30, 40 miles?
maybe 50 at times, weaving in and out of traffic, going over sidewalks, man. Like those things they're crazy. I mean,
Does
it
the frame rattle? Kind of like going to 100 in a Toyota
yeah,
Corolla, the car starts braking?
reminds me of is like think of like a motorbike chariot and just gladiators and they're just like screaming through the streets, it's literally like a chariot cart on the back, no seat belts, on like a hard seat with somebody on a motorbike in the front of it, like right in front of you, just I mean, taking corners on one wheel. It's insane.
So you're on the tuk tuk with deli belly,
Yeah, yeah.
looking for diapers?
Looking for a diaper for Ginny Fuchs. Yep. Yeah, so she can compete because she was worried about having an episode on international television. So yeah, I mean, when there's a will, there's a way, people. There's no amount of adversity, crazy situations, language barriers, food obstacles, heat intolerance. Like, let's just go. It's an adventure and just know thyself, man. It does not matter what gets thrown at you. It's just you still have to perform. So seize the opportunity when it comes to you.
Did now I gotta ask you, so when you got all those things, did the symptoms come when you were on the plane or after?
Yeah, I started getting a fever before, and then when we got on the plane, I was like, I mean, I had a 9 hour flight, and 11 hour flight, and stuck in a middle seat with tons of people, and they were serving curry on the plane, and I was so sick, and I was just like all of these, and I love curries. Like if anybody knows me, and I just was just like, this is the worst smell at this time. And I was incredibly sick. I mean, I had like chills and fever and sweats uh, on this plane for 9.5 hours and then had a layover in Frankfurt and then had to take an 11-hour flight from Frankfurt to, I think, Dallas or Houston. And then the next flight was back to Colorado Springs. I had 3 flights. It was, if you've never been in hell, that's hell. That's the grand slam of ick, stuck on a plane in a middle seat for 9 hours.
I did it from Armenia to Russia and Russia to LAX.
Oof.
And that was about 19 and I was fighting a cold. But the my Hall of Fame sick game was I was in business class, so it's different. It's
Mm-hmm.
different. But
Now,
I
is it?
got absolutely annihilated by a mosquito the night before a flight. And it was like on my hand, my throat. They bit the hell out of me the night before. So I'm itching like no other. And it's like I'm feeling it as the plane is taking off.
Oh
And
God.
it's like I did a whole flight just feeling itchy and terrible. Like I just wanted to take a shower and I'm
Yeah.
on a
I,
flight
I mean, itchy and terrible is different than like
dying.
not knowing if you're gonna crap your pants in the
Well,
middle.
that's just my life. That's my life. That's a feeling you can ask anyone that knows me. That's like that's just a standard for the
Are you
loogie.
over 35 and you haven't crapped your pants yet? Well,
Yeah, I love where this interview is going. It's to the poop joke section. Um, before we get you out of here, are you playing any mental warfare with Caroline? Obviously, you got the age experience. We're not bringing up age or anything. I'm sure someone's going to do that in an interview that'll you might run it into them. Um, but like, are you doing a little psychological stuff with her? Knowing that you've been through life a little bit more than her, that she's maybe a little bright eyed and thinks life's going to just be fun all the time, and that she's made it and that this is just going to be a neat experience and she's going to be the top of the world.
yeah, I mean, it's like I said with like the presser, that face off. I mean, when when something real steps in front of you and you feel it like a freaking brick wall, like a waterfall coming in front of you, like that's, I don't know if it's psychological warfare, but like that is who I am. And it's nuts. I've seen some stuff on line about like, oh well, I don't think I have to do the work. Like the people online and the critics are kind of doing the work for me. The Sky Sport interview just came out where we both were interviewed by Sky Sport, and it was a great experience. They were super professional, but her interview, she's continues to talk herself up, which self promotion, awesome. But she's like, I want to fight the best, and then the critics, the people that are out there just have been ripping her apart about accepting the fight with me. And so, it's like, they're kind of tearing her down, and it's just like, I don't really have to do anything because they're doing whatever they want to do. They're doing what critics do. And also, poo poo on them because they don't know me. And so that's if you're going to place a bet, better bet on this horse because I'm coming for the finish line.
Okay, we've never done this before, so it's gonna start with Amelia Moore. Four like kind of word associations. This is gonna be amazing. Okay, you're into this.
You're
I see it in your face. You're into it. So number one, if Amelia Moore was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, which Arnie movie would you be?
Oh man, get to the choppa. I mean, it's
Which one is that one? I just watched that the other night where he's in the.
Rambo.
That's not Commando.
Commando.
Yeah,
Is
you
it
call it
Robert?
Rambo. Get to the chopper.
Okay, Rambo is that
Fly. Rambo is Sylvester Stallone.
okay. So yeah, Commando.
Okay, Commando. If you were in a rock band, keep in mind a rock band,
Hmm.
what would you be? Like what role would you be? What would your instrument be?
Bass guitar for sure.
And why is that? We need an essay response to this.
And I need well, I mean you said one word responses.
Well, no,
Um,
no, no. We're changing the rules on you.
okay, so I mean bass is the beat. I think it's one of the more fun. I also my dad plays everything. So like he also plays drums, so he's gonna be pretty upset if I were to say not drums. But I love bass. I think that it's the true you've got a heart that keeps, the bass line riff and everything gets to kind of move off of that. So and I think that bass guitarists just have a really good time. I mean, have you've ever seen a Korn concert, I really believe that he's enjoying himself.
I love that. That's an era of music where it was like white people were angry that they didn't get sick jobs. So like Limp Bizkit and Corn was like you either get Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears or Limp Bizkit and Corn. This is how you're gonna synthesize the world and Fight Club's coming. Okay, third question of our four. If you were a studio musician who's a bassist, what song would you sit in on and record your sweet bass lick as a studio musician?
Okay, so I mean, gosh, one of the absolute classics got to be Sublime. Any of their songs, it's I mean, eh, you know that any type of reggae, any type of that genre of music, of island music, I feel like any of those would be legit.
Okay,
I
little hippie vibes.
I gotta throw this in there because it was the first time that I've seen it live. There's a band called Elephant Revival, and they're from here in Colorado, in the Netherlands. And the girl, she plays everything. She plays everything from spoons to washboard and saw. And if you've never heard a saw being played and the way it like it's one of the craziest sounds. But yeah, the girl, the lead singer of that band is just so talented. I mean, she plays violin, electric violin, and they bring out some of the most interesting instruments. I mean, spoons, like, is this Appalachia? Like, it's crazy. It's some of the most interesting, truly artistic, intricate music that I've ever experienced in live, like in person.
Okay, love the drop. I like the Sublime poll because when me and Mark Castro did a COVID podcast around what would our dream concert be because there were no fights happening, so I just would call random boxers and I did the dream concert series. That's where we were in 2020. Sublime Garden Grove was like my dream concert. Let's start it off with a little day drinking, get the shirt off, I'm walking in flip flops, get a little Garden Grove going, and then set the tone for how it's going to go. It's not too loud, but it's not too mellow. So I'm not mad at that. I haven't listened to Sublime since I was in seventh grade, but I like the deep cut. Okay, final question. If you were to exist in a cartoon world, an animated series, which animated series would you be a part of?
Oh my gosh. Well, there's the animated series, there's a limited series, and then I love Rick and Morty. Like, love Rick and Morty. But there's this limited series show called Common Side Effects on, I think, Hulu.
Nah, we ain't doing this. You got to pick one.
Ugh.
You're going into a championship fight. We're not letting you sit on the fence. We're not doing fence sitting, so you got to pick one.
Yeah, Rick and Morty all the way. It's philosophical, it's gritty, it's violent. Great.
Who would you be in it? Would you be the bad guy or would you be helping them?
In Rick and Morty, I'd
I've
have to.
never seen it. It's too weird for me and my
Oh my
girlfriend.
gosh, some of them are so good. Some of those episodes are like they just hit you really hard. Um, I don't know. I want to say I'd love to be Morty. I mean, he's just like he's right there with his grandpa, but then again, his sister, what is it, Summer, and she just plays like this interesting character, kind of just like comes in and out. Um, but yeah, I don't know. One of the good guys. I don't know if they're really good guys. I don't know if Rick is actually a good human. That's the whole shtick of the thing is he just does whatever he wants. The rules don't apply to him. So it makes it interesting.
I mean, that probably means something to someone. I have no clue what that show is. So,
Yeah.
I selfishly, I always want to talk about myself. I feel like if I was in a cartoon, I would be the bad guy. I think I'm a really good guy, but I think the world would want me to be a bad guy. I don't know what it is. It's just like the approach. But that's
Villain.
interesting. Maybe the night before your fight, I'll try to watch a Rick and Morty episode or something. We'll try to
Don't
get through it.
start don't start with episode 1. Maybe go to the Unity. The Unity episode is wild. Like it's one of my favorites. I remember watching that episode and just being like, "Holy crap, humanity is just effed." And it's good. I don't know how they created it and what drugs they were on when they decided to write the script, but man, it nails every aspect of how absurd we are as people and humans, and yet also like the humility and humanity of what it also means to be human. It's just really interesting. It makes you feel like you're like, oh wow, we're all just monsters, but we're all just human. Like it's interesting. Some of them are far out there, but a lot of them have some really good messages behind it. And you're like, holy, I can't believe they weaved that in there. That is wild.
Well, I know what's going to be hitting hard. Amelia Moore, she's got a fight coming up Saturday. When you hear this, it'll be Saturday. Amelia, plug your fight, all the distribution that you're doing, and whatever the hell else I didn't ask you.
Saturday, August 29th, tune in. It's going to be live on ESPN Plus in the US and also Sky Sport. If you have that within your streaming services, I'm not sure what time it kicks off. I believe the fight card kicks off at 6 o'clock in Birmingham, UK. So we're looking at like 4 p.m., 3 p.m. Mountain Central,
The
probably.
only time zone to you, I assume.
Yeah, the only one that seems to matter. Well, I guess that's actually if kicks off at 6 p.m. on in Britain, it's really going to be like 1 o'clock noon out here, and then like two to 4 p.m. on the East Coast. So yeah, so tune in, lock it in. I'll be sending updates through my IG at the number one MORE_round. You can catch some updates there, and then obviously everything through Most Valuable Promotions. So this is going to be great. It's WBC WBO Unified World Title co-main event. Amelia Moore versus Caroline Dubois. Let's get it.
Love the third person there. Love that you just called yourself by your own name. Love that. Tells me that you're ready for the fight. We're excited to see you do it and wish you the best.
Thank you. Thanks, Lukey. I appreciate you having me on.